So this weekend I was supposed to be driving a Toyota Hilux Workmate, and I was rather looking forward to it because I need to get a new garden shed at the moment. But that's going to have to wait because unfortunately the person who had that car before me didn't end up returning it on time. And so Toyota had to end up finding a replacement vehicle for me for a few days until that gets returned and ready for me to take it back out. Now, when the folks at Toyota's Adelaide office went to have a look around to find something to give me that no one else was using, I was expecting to be given some sort of boring SUV type deal, but as you can probably see, I haven't been given that. Much to my surprise, they came back out and asked me a very easily answered question. Would you like a race car for the weekend? Of course, I said yes. Now, I should clarify, this isn't exactly a race car. Yes, it might have the exact same livery as one of the cars that competes in the Toyota 86 race series, which, as you can see, is stickered all over this car. This is just a normal bone stock Toyota 86 GTS, and at that, it is an automatic one. So, given the fact that it's a totally normal 86 underneath, I figured we might as well go and take it out for a drive and see how it goes, because even though I've driven some 86s and the very closely related Subaru BRZ over the years, all of them have been manuals, and I haven't actually done one yet for the Drive Section website or YouTube channel, so I figure we better go and take a look. Now, the Toyota 86 has been around for quite a while now, actually, since 2012, with very minimal changes made over that time. It was originally developed as a joint venture with Subaru, who build the car for Toyota and make the engine that's in it, which is a 2-litre flat 4, somewhat based on the engine that you'd find in a new Impreza, although it does have different internals to allow it to rev all the way to 7,500 RPM, and it also has Toyota's fuel injection system on it as well. While manual models did get a little bit of extra power added back in 2017, up to 152 kilowatts, the automatic, which I'm driving, still has the same amount of power that this car did back when it first came out, which is just 147 kilowatts and 205 newton meters. But this car is not about having massive amounts of power. It's all about the chassis. And this thing has a brilliant chassis. You have one person to thank for that, and that is Tetsuya Tada, an engineer at Toyota, who became famous basically off of designing and tuning this car, and now more recently was the man responsible for creating the new Toyota Supra, which I did just review recently. You can check out a video of that. I don't know, you click somewhere, it'll come up, you'll see it. And I'll tell you what, having driven the Supra now, you can see how his influence played out on both this car and the Supra, because the chassis on them both feel fantastic and very similar in some regards, so you can tell that that's the way he's wanted it to be set up. And I'll tell you what, on this, his first crack at making a sports car, because I believe he did like vans or something before stepping into this job, Tada-san did a cracking job, because the 86 drives timelessly well. I mean, even now, nearly 8 years after it first launched, few cars come close to having as competent a chassis as this thing does. The steering is perfectly weighted, incredibly responsive, very tight. It just feels so fantastic. It's incredibly balanced through the corners as well. It just remains so flat and so composed. But while making the 86 feel sharp, precise and responsive through the corners when driven accordingly was part of its dynamic focus, an even bigger part of what the 86 has really been tuned for is properly larking about. With its name paying homage to the AE86 made famous by Initial D, the skinny, low rolling resistance tyres and balanced rear-wheel drive layout has all been deliberately chosen with some grin-inducing sideways action in mind. You can feel just how tight the differential is when you give it some through the bends. I mean, it's just so easy to slide. So much fun. I should point out as well that this particular car has the optional dynamic performance pack, which is just over $2,000 to add. I believe it's $2,200 on the GTS. And that adds quite a few things that are worth having. Number one, you get some new Sachs dampers, which make the suspension even tighter than it already was before. You also get some new wheels, which look very spiffy in grey. But most importantly, you get Brembo brakes, and they are tremendous. Some of the strongest brakes I've felt on just about any road car. Obviously, it's a pretty light car, so it doesn't need huge brakes to bring it to a stop, but these are total overkill, which is very good. I've never felt a brake pedal this heavy and firm in an unmodified car before. It's absolutely fantastic. They are so confidence-inspiring. You definitely feel like you could take this thing on the track with these brakes and not have any concerns about heat or anything like that. They are fantastic. My only real issue with this particular car is the fact that it's got the 6-speed paddle shift automatic transmission. It is a torque converter, and look, for what it is, it does a very good job. The problem is in the fact that it is a torque converter tied to an engine that didn't really have a lot of torque to begin with. You can feel it zapping quite a lot of the power that it does have, and as a result, it just doesn't feel nearly as peppy as the manual does. And I mean, it doesn't help that you're already off to a power deficit compared to the manual in the first place. It's still a very fun car though, because the chassis in this is just spectacular, and it's only made even more fun by the fact that it's got this livery on it. As I said, this is just a bone stock 86. It might look like a race car, but it's just the normal car you can go out and buy tomorrow with some stickers on it. It's a shame you can't actually buy one with the stickers already fitted, because it just looks fantastic. Anyway, just wanted to make a quick little video on this thing while I've got it, because I mean, it just looks so cool that how could I not? Plus, it's a good opportunity to take a retrospective look at the 86 after nearly 8 years of it being on sale. And yeah, in short, it might be getting on in years, but in terms of the chassis and the driving experience that it offers up, it feels, well, it feels like it came out yesterday. So if you're a chassis enthusiast, all the Chris Harris fans out there will know what I'm talking about right now. If you're a chassis enthusiast, this is definitely the sort of car for you. So yeah, thank you Tetsuya Tada, thank you Initial D, and thank you all for watching. See you next time.